Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 74 on this fine Monday. Getting everything dialed in here as people arrive. All right. Dude, we finally had a break in the weather this weekend. Let's see, yesterday was amazing. I'm going to get you guys pulled up here on my phone so I can see comments. Come on in. Give me 1 second as I go ahead and do this. Hopefully you guys got a chance to shoot this weekend, bring in some dough, get some more images for your portfolio. All right. What's up, you guys? Victoria, Jacob, how's it going? So here's the deal. Friday normally is Q&A Friday, but this Friday was my daughter's birthday. And so there was no way in hell I was going to come in live for you guys on my daughter's birthday. So I apologize, but at the same time I don't. So Q&A Friday is going to be today. It's going to be Monday. I've already had a number of questions hit my inbox. And so Lauren, what's up, girl? I've had a number of questions hit my inbox that I'm going to be able to kind of address here, but I would love to get some live questions right down in the comments section. And so if there's anything that you guys are wanting to ask, drop it down below. These can be questions truly about anything. I'll be honest if I don't know the answer or if I don't want to answer. So work-life balance, personal, it's personal life stuff, being optimistic, happy, joyful, maintaining good vibes, marketing, business, pricing, packages, creative setups, lighting, gear, whatever you guys got. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Nate, what's up, my man? And so that's the plan. So we're going to do that. I've got a few questions that, like I said, that have already hit. And so I'll probably start with those in the meantime. Look, we are on episode 74 of Six Figure Live. My name is Ben Hartley with Style and Story Creative and Six Figure Photography. I'm coming to you guys live from the studio in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm sitting down today. I've got a stand-up desk, and normally I'm a stand-up kind of a guy when I deliver these, but I thought I'd change up the pace a little bit and just sit down. So that's the plan. Look, the entire purpose of Six Figure Live is to bring you guys very candidly behind the scenes, just in a very real, authentic way. I mean, that's what I love about live, you guys. I love that it can't be like overly polished. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? And so, especially with Q&A Friday / Monday, the answers that I give are super off the cuff. And so, I think I really appreciate that very genuine aspect of it. And then just bring you guys behind the scenes at what's going on at the studio, to see how we run things, to see what we're up to, how we keep things moving forward, how we continue to innovate, and just try to keep getting better at every single thing that we do. The other great benefit that I love about Six Figure Live is I get to actually interact with you guys. So please leave comments, questions, thoughts, hearts, thumbs up, whatever you guys got, throw it my way, because otherwise I'm only going to be able to connect with you guys at like WPPI and United and all these other conferences and mentorships. And I don't want to wait for that kind of stuff. So there we go. I'm on that note, by the way, I'm getting ready. I'm going to be heading over to Arizona with Leslie. I'll be speaking at United, show at United this year. Super, super stoked about that. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to knock the socks off of everyone who's attending my breakout session. I'm like, get ready. I'm going to go hard. And it's going to be incredible. So I can't wait. All right, you guys, let's jump in. Let's start talking. Nate says, how was B's birthday? I guess it is Q&A Friday, Nate. You can ask any question you want. Nate, B's birthday party was amazing. There was like 17 kids running around like mad, and it was crazy, but it was amazing. Thanks for asking, bud. All right, let's start talking here. Let me pull up the questions that have already come and hit the inbox. As I'm going into these, let's bring in some more. Thomas, what's up, dude? Okay, so here we go. This question, a lot of these too, you guys, there's patterns, right? There's patterns, and I see a lot of the similar questions over and over and over. And so you're gonna get, every once in a while, I'm just gonna kind of go off because I feel like I've been answering the question over and over and over, and yet you guys don't see that. And so forgive me when I go off. So here we go. Here's the first question. This is a guy, and he says this. He says, look, I just moved to a new city and I've been getting by because I've been charging so low, right? I've been undercutting the market in order to get clients in the door. And now I want to increase my cost. How do I do that? And so, yeah, the question is, it's really this. How do you increase your prices, especially when you've built a client base from starting really low? The first thing is it has to start up here, you guys. Or maybe I should say like right here, right? Like you have to actually believe that you're worth you're worth a greater rate. You have to believe that you're worth it. I mean, this is what I talk about all the time, you guys. Abundance comes from understanding your own self-worth. That's one. And then two is making sure that you're providing value to everyone you encounter. There's a value scale, right? You've got your cost and you've got your value. And they tip, and they have to balance. If not, the value has to essentially be weighing more than the cost. And so, if right now your cost is super low, you've got to do something to prove that you're worth more money, right? And so first, I believe it. Secondly, provide more value. That's the other big thing. And then as far as practicality, I want to encourage you to take your time as you move your prices up. I 100% say, look, increase your prices. But I also don't mean double your prices. I don't mean go from 500 to 1,000 or 500 to 2,000, right? I think it's a slow, steady process where you start increasing your prices incrementally, $300 maybe to start out for that first month, see how things go. Keep increasing. Figure out more ways to communicate your value to your people. But man, so much of it, I think the biggest struggle for photographers isn't necessarily the value thing. It's so much here and here. It's actually believing that you're worth it. And so that would be my advice to you, my man. I would really encourage you to have a very introspective look and do you actually believe it? Do you actually believe that you're worth more? And if you don't, then nothing I tell you is going to help, right? Nothing I tell you is going to help. And my guess is if you're asking me the question of how to do it, it means you don't believe it. That's just my thoughts. So, okay, let's keep going. We got another question here. This is an interesting one. This is, it's an interesting one because it's a little bit different. It's done in another kind of vein that we don't get a chance to talk about very much. It has to do with creating your own unique sense of style. And in a lot of ways, this is brand, you guys. And so this photographer is wanting to know how to edit images that wow. And actually, I received a few questions in regards to editing with a kind of a wow factor or with a unique style aspect. And the reason I go right to brand is because this is so much to do. This has so much to do with your brand, right? The way that you kind of edit your images becomes a big part of what your brand communicates. And so this is almost a question, honestly, of you have to pull all the way back. And you've got to first identify who's your target client. Who's your ideal client? Who are you trying to attract? You have to understand that first before you can start trying to figure out your unique style and how to edit images that wow. And so that'd be my first advice, is really take a step back and decide who do you want to shoot? Who do you want your ideal client to be? What kind of weddings do you want to be a part of, or any other event, seniors, portraits, all that kind of stuff. Then kind of work backwards. I mean, so much of what we do, when I say, I guess so much of, I think what great business owners do or entrepreneurs do is they essentially, I just lost the train of thought. I lost the word. Reverse engineer. There it is. We reverse engineer. And so if you're trying to figure out your style and your aesthetic, you have to reverse engineer who are you actually trying to attract, right? And go from there. From there, I'll say this. It's going to be ever evolving. Even after you decide who you want to attract and you start to create an image that would maybe someone would respond to, you're going to keep finessing it. And so the next thing is don't overthink it, man. Just keep doing. Keep actually getting out there. Don't let this kind of big open-ended question of style and editing freeze you up from shooting, taking pictures, editing them, and posting them up online, right? Just start. I say thrash, right? Thrash, mess around, just keep trying, practice. That's going to be really the only way. No one can tell you how to edit. You just have to keep doing it, okay? So that would be another point of advice that I would have. Look, you can look at other people's work and that can be good for some people, but I honestly, I see a lot of times photographers looking at other photographers' work and then just feeling like shit, man, just feeling really down about themselves and down about their work, and they're comparing themselves to everyone else. And so I want to encourage you to be cautious about that in regards to going out and looking at other work. My advice would be this: go look at someone's work who's not in your industry. If you're a wedding photographer trying to figure out a unique kind of style or approach to editing your work with a wow factor, go look at editorial work. Go look at family sessions, right? Maybe don't look at wedding work because it's going to really, I think, do yourself a disservice in terms of comparing. So that would be a couple of thoughts from there. So great question, mate. Let's see here. We got a couple questions here. Mike, what's up, man? Mike says this: I missed the photo expo in New York City. Are there any new things you've seen at expos that you're excited for? Mike, great question. I missed that too. I've got a lot of friends in the industry over there, and I just had to kind of bide my time. It was over my daughter's birthday and didn't go. So in terms of new and exciting things in the industry, to be honest, I kind of take a step back. I put all of like the gear kind of stuff on the back burner because I know that, new equipment and new gear and exciting new things and exciting new technology will not make my business successful. I just know that. And so my head isn't there. I'm like, you're probably asking the wrong guy. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm not the right guy to talk to. I kind of understand that there's more important things that are going to really move the needle. That being said, though, I will say this: I'm so stoked about what like Fuji is doing, what Sony is doing with these combat cameras, like the new Fuji X-T2, and it's like newish, right? Even their X Pro 2. I mean, it's so incredible what those cameras are doing with such a compact size. And like I was just expressing, I'm so minimal in terms of the gear that I approach shooting with. I mean, I'd be really content shooting with a couple lenses on a wedding day at 35 and 85. And I love that really tight packet that Fuji offers. And so I've been intrigued with that. I've been intrigued with ditching Canon, ditching the SLR system entirely and moving in that type of a direction. And so I'm going to keep my eye on that. I'm not ready to make the jump just yet, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. So great question, Mike. I'm honestly not the best person to talk to, my man. So I apologize. I can't give more insight on that. Luke, what's up, Luke? Luke, you asked this. Luke says, "I'm looking forward to the new content you're working on, and we'll definitely pick it up when you release it. In the meantime, I'm curious what your call to action looks like." CTA, by the way, call to action looks like at the booking stage. I'm making the phone calls, but the majority of them end with them wanting to discuss, think about it. Thanks, brother. So, Luke, I want to encourage you with this. I think you might be thinking about the phone call wrong. It sounds like you're moving forward with the phone call with the objective of mind to book a client. All right, so when we're calling every lead that we get, right? We're calling every client that expresses interest in us. But my main goal with that phone call is not to book a client, right? I've got two main goals in that phone call. The first main goal is to be able to actually give value in that moment, in that phone call. So that phone call does not look like me telling them all about my services and my packages and my options and the albums and how important print is and all that kind of stuff. It looks a lot more like discovering and learning and genuinely being interested in them and really digging deeper into their answers, like not accepting the very first answer that someone gives and continue to ask why, or what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you? And actually getting an understanding of what they care about. So it's also to give them an expectation for the value that they will continue to receive moving forward with our studio. And then the second thing is, in terms of a call to action of that phone call, it's really to get them into a pre-consultation meeting, an in-person meeting where I can go over everything in way more detail, show them actual physical albums, show them a full wedding, and continue to dig deeper into understanding their story. But now with the stakes being higher, now not just with the groom or the bride, but now them together, right? And I can encourage dialogue that happens there, and I can give them very real gifts and very tangible things during that time. So I guess long story short, my call to action of the phone call is not a call to action to book. It's a call to action to meet in person, to go over things in more detail. And so maybe you need to change up what you're trying to do in that phone call. So those are my thoughts, man. Great question, Luke. Victoria, how's it going, girl? Victoria says this: "I've been meeting with every client that inquires for wedding photography. I have met with 3 within the last week, and they don't book me on the spot. They always say this. They say, quote, 'We are going to go home and discuss it and let you know,' end quote. The clients that I meet with know my starting price. I don't send my prices like I used to, but I'm wondering, how often do you book them on the spot without them going home to decide?" Great question, Victoria. I have to pull up my numbers to really take a look at that. I will say this: I think that this is common, right? It's common to want to step back and to kind of revisit things and talk about it. I know this just from my own buying habits as a consumer. I know that I want to give myself time, and so the first thing is to be okay with that. I think to understand that that's how a lot of people operate. That's how you operate as a consumer. So to not be offended by it or alarmed by it, but also to be aware of it and understand that there are some things that you can do that can help to reduce that. And so I offer incentives. At every single booking session, I offer incentives if they're able to tell me, maybe by the end of the day, I would love to give them a gift, right? And so I just express hey, I know that you guys need to go home and talk this over with maybe their parents, or maybe I'm just meeting with a bride and she needs to talk this over with her fiance, and say, hey, I know you need to go and do this. I'm totally on board with that. If you guys are able to make a decision today, I would love to get things moving forward. I'd love to book you guys, and I would like to give you a gift of an extra 2 hours on the day, or I'd love to give you a gift of an engagement session, or I know how important those digital files were to you. I'd love to include those in this collection. Just let me know. Now, here's the deal. There's two sides of this. Number one is, as long as you aren't a smarmy, salesy, manipulative person, when you express that with a genuine kind of intention behind it, that's how you'll come across, right? As just man, I really want to shoot this. I'd love to incentivize it and make it even more like a no-brainer, right? But if that's not how you are, then it might come across as being pushy or salesy. Now, the next thing that you're going to notice is this. When I say that, I don't say necessarily as long as you let me know by 11 p.m. Tonight, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm going to remove that gift from you, right? I say, look, if you let me know tonight, I would love to do this for you. Just shoot me a ring or a text. Now, look, here's the deal. If they end up coming back 2 days later and be like, hey, we want to book with you, does that offer still stand? No matter what, I'm going to be of course it's still I just wanted to be a part of your day and help to give you guys a gift to make it even easier on you and to make it even a more no-brainer. Okay. So, that little incentive really helps from the people that just kind of disappear. It helps to incentivize them and make a quicker decision. So that would be, my encouragement to you is really give an offer, give a gift, that you can do. Now, on that note too, I want to encourage you, don't reduce your price. Instead, offer more value. So don't say, I'll give you $500 off. That reduces your value. That reduces your price. And we don't want to do that. Instead, you want to increase your value and say, look, I'd like to give you a gift of XYZ, whatever it may be for you. Okay. Great question. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Thomas, do you use back button focus or the half press? Great question, Thomas. Super technical question. I am a huge fan of back button focus, and so I don't like the half press for a few reasons. But yeah, back button focus. Anytime I do a half press, that means I've got to do a balancing act, right? So if I want to get focus and then hold it and recompose, I've got to do this very subtle balancing act with my finger. And if I let go, I lose my focus. And if I click all the way down, well, now I've got a shutter. The other nice thing about back button focus is I can focus, take my finger off the back button, recompose, and then shoot all day. Rather with a half press, I only get one attempt where I do a half press, recompose, shoot. But now next time I go to shoot again, it's going to keep refocusing. So back button focus all the way, my man. Great question. Let's keep going. Adele, what's up, Adele? Adele says this: I moved from a large city to a really low income town, and of course my business is failing here because of my prices. I know I'm worth the prices I'm advertising. How do I pull more people into my studio being such a low income town? Adele, there is just a very real, first off, thanks for asking. The next thing is this, there are certainly things that you can do, but I do understand that sometimes look, I couldn't charge. If I was living in New York, I could charge more. That's just a reality, right? If you were living in New York, you could charge more. And so I can't sugarcoat it, right? I can't give you this great hope that you can do this thing and it'll make the transition. What I can say is this: maybe you need to market outside of your area. Maybe you need to look to the next biggest town. I mean, honestly, we're kind of at a point now where we're considering, we're kind of priced ourselves to the top here in our market. And so now we're looking outside. Where else could we go? We could could go to Pittsburgh. There's some money in Pittsburgh. We could start going north to Chicago, right? That's a thing that we're even thinking about as a studio. And so I would encourage you to take a look. What's within an hour, 2-hour radius, and see if maybe you need to be marketing there. So that would be it. The next thing that maybe you could try to figure out how to do is not necessarily figure out a way where you can maintain the same amount of revenue, same amount of income without increasing your prices. And so figuring out a way to rearrange your packages and your collections so that way maybe a starting price will get people in the door, and maybe you can get really good at in-person sales and do some learning there and figure out ways to kind of make things up on the back end. That could be a thought as well. I guess the other thought is, I don't know the area that you're talking about, but my guess is that there are people who are there who can't afford you. You just need to find them, right? Even our business, Stone's Story Creative, we started in Bowling Green, Ohio, population of 30,000, a small college town. The national tractor pulling competition is held there, right? And largely, there's not a lot of money there. But in certain areas there is, right? And so I think maybe trying to identify where is maybe certain neighborhoods or populations living in this area that you're from, where they do have the money, right? And try to figure out how to reach that target client. But again, maybe it's super, super small and there's like nothing. I don't know. So maybe you need to look outside of it. All right, great question, Del. Thanks for tuning in. Luke, love it. Excited to try it out. Thanks, man. Good, Luke. I'm stoked for you. Julia, what's up, girl? That's my sister-in-law. She's here. She's watching me live. That's cool. Dave Johnson. Dave says this: I really hate the family formal format process. I dread that part of the day. I'm assuming you're talking about weddings, just doing the family formals out on a wedding day. What do you think about A, hiring an assistant to gather the family and help me during the family formals, or B, not doing them at all? What if I just developed a business model where my clients know that I'm not going to take shot lists and extensive family formal shots? What are your general thoughts on this? Great question, Dave. Let's break down both of those options. Jill, what's up, girl? I love Jill. She's watching live right now. Dave, for starters, to bring an assistant on, that's great. Like we had lighting directors, we've had assistants on wedding days apart from a second shooter, right? But honestly, I think that if you create a system ahead of time where you're not trying to solve the problem in the moment on the wedding day, I think you just need to be more proactive, Dave. And so for us, for example, we have an automated questionnaire that goes out using Tave that asks our brides these questions in terms of what family pictures do they need, right? And what do they value? What do they not value? Are there any outside of the norm? And that's actually what we do. We say, look, we're going to capture, and we list the images that we're going to capture. Are there any outside of this that aren't listed? And then they tell us. The next thing is to create a foolproof system that you don't need an assistant for, dude. I mean, maybe if you have like a 3-day-long Indian wedding with all these extended relatives, maybe you need a system for. But honestly, a foolproof system that you do every single time and you know it like the back of your hand. There's the phrase. And so, for example, for us, let me tell you my system for family pictures, because we freaking rock at family pictures. And we do them so fast and so well. But before I tell you that system, actually, let's get to your second part, your plan B of just not offering it and marketing yourself as someone who doesn't do them. Good luck. That would be, I mean, honestly, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can get away with it. And to be honest, I don't think it's right. Like, I guess I want to say this, you guys. I know that we are creatives and we are artists and that we are being hired, but do not think yourself so great that you won't take a family picture, because I tell you what, man, some of the greatest images that I've ever given a bride weren't the most amazing epic shots, weren't these lovely, portrait shot with a 51.2 backlit. It was amazing. No, sometimes it's just the heirloom. Sometimes it's just mom and dad. Sometimes it's the grandma who passed away and you captured that family picture for them, right? Like I understand that we want to be creative and capture all this stuff, but you know what? I think there's also a responsibility that we have to our clients to tell their story and to deliver something that has value to them outside of you, man. Like, I know that you don't give a shit about it, Dave, but your clients do, right? And so I guess that's my answer to the second part is I don't think it's wise. I really don't think it's wise. And I guess I think it's selfish too. But I am also saying this too, Dave, by the way, because I've gone through that same process as well. So anytime I say this stuff and I go hard, I'm going hard on myself too. Because there was a time where I was just like, I didn't give a rip about them, and I just treated them like second tier shots, and I tried to get through them as fast as possible. And it wasn't until I had a family member who unexpectedly passed away, like 2 days after the wedding, and to receive that phone call saying, Ben, please tell me that you captured this image, like through tears on the phone. Please tell me that you have this image, right? And for me to be able to deliver that and understanding, how dare I think that these images don't matter? Those images matter, man. Okay, so going back to how I shoot them. For starters is this. The bride's family is hosting the party. The bride's family is hosting the reception, at least normally, right? And so I make sure that I start with the bride's family first because I want to get them off to the reception. And I tell them that. I tell the mother of the bride that. I'm like, look, we're going to start with your family first because I want to get you as host of the party over to the cocktail hour, over to the reception. Your bride and her mom and her father, who are maybe paying the bill, are going to love you for it. Next is this. I start large and then I work my way down and I remove people. I want to get the extended family out of that room, out of that church, out of that hall as fast as possible. And so I start with the biggest group, all the extended family. And then once I do that shot, then I take away cousins and I take away, them, and I say, okay, go, leave, go drink and be merry. And then I go now mom and dad and brothers and sisters. And then I take the brothers and sisters I take away. And then I go mom and dad. And then I take mom away and then I just go dad. And then I take dad away and just go mom, right? And I just keep narrowing down and down and down until the bride's family is done. And then I send the bride's family off to go host their party. And then I do the same thing for the groom and go as large as possible and work my way down. And I make sure that they understand those images. And if they want anything more, they can tell me. And if they want anything more, I gladly accept. I gladly accept you guys. All right, let's keep going. Amy. Hey, Ben, what's up? Jill says this. I had a groom recently start crying during family photos with his mom. Right, Jill? Like, we don't know. We think we know. We think we want to know what images are cool and important to the client, but you don't know. And you don't. But I'll tell you what, I know. The reason I know now is because I'm calling and I'm asking and I'm digging, right? When you get on the phone with your clients and you start actually caring about their story and understanding what it is that makes them feel, you'll start to know. And that's when it'll change for you guys. I swear it'll change. And that's how you can charge $10,000. I'm just being honest, is because you're actually providing a value that no one else is actually doing. Other people are just showing up and taking pictures. They're snapping a shutter at an hourly rate. And I'm not doing that. I'm doing something more. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. I got another question here. It looks like this might be the last one that came through unless another one hits the live feed there. Thanks you guys so much for showing up and asking these questions. I really appreciate it. This question comes from Amanda. Amanda wrote to me and she said, I absolutely love what I do, but I'm balancing life and family. How do I do this without getting stuck in the grind of the business, right? And so she'd love to be able to shoot 26 to 30 weddings a year and make enough income to live comfortably and raise her children. I got some thoughts here. For starters is this. Look, when we set out as a photographer to go and run a business, we have to understand that we're going to go run a business, right? And so to say that you want to balance life and family without being stuck in the grind of business, I think is dangerous, especially when first starting out. The reality is when you first start out, you're going to be in the grind. You're going to be hustling. You're going to be working your ass off. You're going to be working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, right? And if you're not, I don't know how you're going to win, right? And that's just the reality, right? I know that we would just want to be creatives and photographers and go shoot. And you can do that, but you can do that and likely fail. I got to call it what it is. I can't sugarcoat this one either. It's going to take work. It's going to take hustle, okay? It really will. Now, on the flip side, you can shoot 26 to 30 weddings a year and live comfortably, okay? But you have to make sure that A, you're able to provide the appropriate amount of value to charge that amount, and then B is you actually have to believe that you're worth charging that amount. But even then, that's what I'm doing right now, right? We're doing okay. We're doing all right, and we're shooting that amount. And I guess though at the same time, it's a lot of work. it is just a lot of work. It's always on the mind. Even if I'm not actually out doing it, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how to improve it, all that stuff. I'm going to be cautious to say that there is an existence of owning your own business without it becoming like another child of yours. Like if you have 3 kids and you run your own business, you actually have 4 kids, right? I'm cautious to say that there's another way. And so I guess there's a lot of things that you can do though that'll help. Number one is you can outsource as you're beginning to do this and you're shooting 26 and 30 weddings and the money's starting to come in. Outsource your editing, right? Outsource your client organization, your management. Bring in an office manager, even a VA, someone to help manage your emails. Start to work with a client management software like Tave that you can use to stay organized and automate systems, okay? So that'd be another thing. The next is be incredibly strict with your time and get out of the house. You know, for me, I got in at 5:30 this morning, right? And because of that, I'm going to leave early, and I am going to go home and spend time with my kids. But I guess it also depends what you think of the grind of business. If getting up at 5:30 to get into work and get your shit done is the grind, well, then I don't know what to tell you. But for me, it's just the reality of what I need to do to succeed, and it's worth it. That's the question. Amanda, is it worth it? What if I tell you this? What if I tell you that it's going to be hustle and it's going to be work and you're going to need to like really go hard on this for like a couple years, but you get to be a full-time photographer, right? Is it worth it? If it's not, then go the other direction. Go do something else. But I think it is. That's my thoughts there. Thomas says this. So you use center focus or change it. What is your number of sharp images? Bro, I don't know my number of sharp images. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It's certainly not 10 out of 10. That'd be crazy awesome. I don't know what my percentage of usable images is or sharp images. To be honest, I hate to say this, but I don't care. Like, I will deliver images that aren't tack sharp to clients. If they show emotion and they tell a story, all day. In terms of, do I use the center focus point? No, I move my focus point all over. I'm on a 5D Mark III and I'm always moving my focus point. It's very rarely in the center of my frame. I am constantly all over the map on that one. Sarah, what's up, girl? Sarah Kelly, good to see you. Okay. Amy Plum says this. I saw an image you shared that had the bride and groom in the middle and all the family in a circle around them on the dance floor. Is this something you arranged or was it already happening? Amy, that was an image that I didn't shoot. I wish I shot that. Stephen Lowe shot that image, one of our head photographers here at Style and Story, and that is not something that we arranged. It happened, and he reacted enough to, that's the shot he ripped his pants on to try to get over the balcony and up the stairs fast enough to capture that moment. And so that was a shot Stephen did. It happened, and he rocked it. My treasured memory says, we so want to be that busy. We would totally be happy with 30 weddings a year. We believe in building slowly. Awesome. Super cool. Jill says this. Dude, thanks for popping in, you guys. Sarah. Yes, Kaylee, my treasured memories. Thanks for showing up. Jill, thanks for writing. You said, oh, I have one. Oh, look at me like reading this like, oh, I have one. Jill, oh, I have one. Recently at an engagement shoot, the girl, super hot by the way, this is Jill's words, said at the end, you're going to fix his chin, right? I was stunned. He looked down in embarrassment. He wasn't even overweight. I said, yes, I can do some photoshopping. What would you have said? I feel like he's going to hate the photos just because he was embarrassed. Not sure how I could have made him feel better. That's just a tricky one. Like, so let me get this right. The bride of this engagement shoot, the girl of this engagement shoot, asked if you were going to fix his chin because he was overweight. And then you said, yes, you could do some photoshopping. Like that's not on you. That's on like her. Like, I don't know what to say. I mean, you didn't do anything wrong. The bride just kind of outed the dude right there in front of you. And I guess the thing that I would do is just be like, yeah, it's not like, nope. Here's what I would say. It's like, you don't get specific, right? Just say this, your images are going to be perfect. Like, and just first off, like, oh yeah, whatever, your images are going to be perfect. Like, that's what I would say, I guess. Like, if you feel like, if you sense that he's uncomfortable and embarrassed and she just said something that maybe she shouldn't have said out loud or in front of him, just like move on and just be like, oh yeah, images are going to be perfect. Like that's it. And just move on. So great question, Jill, but I that wasn't on you. Don't overthink that one too long. Okay. All right. Hey, thanks, Amy. Appreciate the amazing shot. All right, you guys, that's it. I got to get some stuff done. I've got a premiere date tomorrow. Clients coming in to see their images for the very first time, and then I got another one next week. And so I'm busting these out, making sure everything looks amazing. Oh wait, I got one more. Steven Miranda, you got one more thought here? I'll hear it out. Steven says this: I'm a former part-time photographer, but for the last 6 years, I've run my online marketing company, SEO, etc. I have quite burned out with the industry, but I believe my photography skills plus my marketing skills could equal a win-win. I think there's a typo. I'm quite discouraged to try photography again as a business. Given advice and articles you read say photography industry is dead, I would want to be making at least $50,000 a year profit. Is this possible? And if so, will I be shooting a lot of weddings, most likely to make a decent money? Okay, Stephen, let me summarize. Sometimes it's tricky for me to be reading these live. So Stephen, you're coming from an SEO background. You're saying that you used to be in the industry, now you went into marketing. And if you were to hop back into the photography industry, combined with your marketing background, maybe you could do it. But you're concerned because you read articles that say the photography industry is dead. Can you make $50,000 a year? Let me tell you, you can make $50,000 a year. Is the photography industry dead? No, the photography industry is not dead. However, if you're going to try to compete on price and be, low to middle end photography, you got some challenges ahead of you. I think gone are soon to be the days when brides stop spending $1,500 on a photographer, because every single family member, guest, everything is going to be shooting freaking amazing pictures from every angle, and they're going to have instant access, immediate gratification to all those files. And so I think that it's going to be something that you're going to need to elevate your brand and provide more value than just that. And so, let's see, hopefully I'm still going. Broadcast interrupted. Okay. So that's my thinking is you've got to get outside of your thoughts on photography. If you're just going to try to show up and take pictures and that's it, then you're going to be sorely mistaken. You've got to provide more value. And so yes, you absolutely can make $50,000. Now, I should say this. Yes, I absolutely can make $50,000. I don't know if you can. I don't know what's in your head. I don't know what's in your heart. And I think that's a big question is what's in your heart, man. Ryan says this: would you ever consider doing a 6-figure live premiere day if a couple was okay with it? Dude, that's a great idea, Ryan. Maybe I would. I don't quite know how that would go about because everything would need to be mic'd and cameras would have to be all kind of rigged up. I'll think about that one, man. That's a great question. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate your care. Appreciate your love. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for asking questions. Keep working hard, you guys. Cheers. Talk soon.